This video is about some concerns I may have been having that may have also led to some frustrations with Jenny as well. Um, you will also see in the upcoming evidence that's going to be coming up that clearly that this was definitely, without a doubt, that way in case there's any other misleading information, that this was under no circumstances a one-sided conversation or relationship or whatnot. We were definitely talking to each other a lot, and a lot of those phone calls came from her to me, and that was a little bit of a concern in terms of how I might have been coming off to her at one point. But that's something that's going to be mentioned later. But I've always had her number, of course, the second time around, and I just didn't mention anything to Mr. Nizia. Like I wanted to, give her the chance to contact me and whatnot. Um, you know, before I, went and finally contact her, and just to avoid me having to sue her for slander. But getting into this here, I did have some concerns, that she rightfully may have had. One, why was I always in San Antonio for one. I had my mother is a victim of a vandalism situation. I've been talking to her to moving out of the area for a long time, and I don't have any brothers or sisters, so I have to definitely look after my family if I'm obviously in the state. And I definitely wanted to do what a son's duty is and help my mother move and everything. And so Jenny ever had concerns or questions about that, about in terms of mystery of why I'm always down there when I live in Austin. That's definitely a good question. We never talked about that, but that's one thing there. I wanted to make sure that if she happens to hear these video series, that is definitely something that I can understand. May have come off kind of weird, but the other thing is as well as why I always step outside when we talk. She's a private person. I'm a private person. I just didn't want no one in her business or mine. And I like our conversations clear and free. And that's one thing there. And some of the times that we were talking clearly, it was late at night a lot of times too. Sometimes well into 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I just this is one thing there. I just don't want anyone else in our business. Wasn't trying to hide anything or whatever. Everyone knows that I talked to her. At one point, obviously, when her and I haven't been in contact, whenever I visited my mother, that's the first thing she asked me was, "Hey, how come I don't see you? You know, hear you talking, when you're here or whatever, and also to outside or getting in your car or anything." I'm just like, well, I mean, I've been having some trouble with her, and I haven't been, we haven't been talking as often, so that's one thing. I didn't want to even let her into that because I would feel bad about it. So I was already feeling bad enough about it. I don't want her to feel bad about it. Um, the other thing is too, I have a very mysterious lifestyle. I have a lot of mystery surrounding around me, and that's one thing there. But that leads to the whole thing of talking outside and other things. There was one time where she kind of like, well, hey, what are you doing? Were you stepping outside or what are you doing? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, mm-hmm, and kind of sounded, I wouldn't say the word jealous or anything like that, but she was like, it just sounded like she thought I was up to something. And but I could definitely understand what how that would come off. Um, just another concern was the whereabouts of where I stayed. Um, I obviously, when I first met her, was staying in hotels due to the nature of me trying to find land still again right now in Lago Vista, Texas. That was one thing. I did find one thing, by the way, recently, but at that time I was sitting there, really frustrated and didn't want to have my name under any leases, even though I was supposed to move in a place called Polo Club on the other side of town in Austin there. And so that was one thing that was a big concern there at one point. I was staying in the Hilton, other upscale places, and then I made an arrangement to go ahead and stay with my drummer and pay his place in exchange to save me a lot of money with hotel stays and whatnot. So that was one thing there. But I was concerned with that and many other things, because I fully, completely trust Jenny with any information of me or where my whereabouts are, which is very rare. I was very concerned that it came off that she was calling me more than I was calling her. And that was one thing. And the only reason why that happened is because she beat me to the punch. We love talking to each other. We're both chatterboxes. We're both, obviously we talk all the time, because we like talking to each other. We like, each other. So of course we're going to talk to each other. There's feelings that developed in that. So obviously we became got to that point we're talking for several hours. Um, a woman is not going to be on the phone with a man 2 or 3 hours if she didn't like him. That's just all there is to it. And I wouldn't be on the phone with her too. And I'm a busy person. I had no problems going ahead and disregarding international calls I was supposed to make when I was talking to her because she came first, plain and simple. And that's what it is. She was going through difficult times too around that time. I'm not going to abandon her. So I was going to talk to her every chance I could because I cherished every moment talking to her. That's just how special she is to me. And I just when at one point, that's what explains why at some point she never really heard my phone ring, because not everyone has my 210-788 number. Yeah, it was published on the internet, for a while, and I get private calls and stuff like that. But in terms of me actually giving out that number, that is very few and far in between. And most definitely, she was the only female that had that number. Period. I don't go out giving my numbers, you know, um, especially once I met her because I didn't want to blow my chances or blow anything, that would mess up anything. I'm not going to do that. I already knew right away that she's a keeper, a catch, and everything. I'm not going to do anything to mess that up. So that was very clear the first couple of days. I knew her and whatnot. Um, Plus, on top of that, too, a lot of business that I have attend to is in the United States have already been done already. So I don't get certain calls due to the fact that most of that business is done. It's just mostly international stuff I have to take care of. And my I used to have a 512-945 number, I think it was, or 949 number, and that was for guitar teaching and lawn care business. And I disconnect. I stopped doing a lot of that stuff and everything for a while. And I just obviously just had my 210 number. So, and she's the only one that really had that something of interest and whatnot. And I just very concerned of having my number out there, but want to put this across in this other video series that was my concerns, that I can understand if she had frustrations or whatever that leads to this kind of hostility or whatever, because I trust her. I really do. And I feel very bad that she feels that at some point that she was not trusted or whatever, which is what leads to all of this here. She would have not have done what she did with that car. I respect her. I mean, I got my car back, in safe condition. uh, there was nothing scrupulous, going on. She's if she was two-faced or a criminal or something like that, I wouldn't have got my car back. I mean, I'm just confused by everything that's going on here right now. And I will leave it at this in this video series. I think I've explained enough. I will go over everything that was said and make sure that I gave all the proper information that is supposed to be given here. And that should be it. And hopefully her and I can resolve this issue. I will also be adding additional information here with a video recording that's supposed to be given to a pastor at this church. As um, you know, added material for y'all to review if you want to review it. That person will contact the detective that's also most likely listen to this video. Um, he will be contacted through her to offer this to Jenny because I need to make the best effort possible for us to go ahead and try to resolve this civilly and hopefully pick up where we left off. Because at the end of the day, I know that all this comes from just that. It's just a serious misunderstanding, and she got very angry about it, thinking that it's something that it's not. So hopefully we have some positive results out of this. If not, I sure have done the best that I could. And I can honestly say that I done the right thing, trying to at least get my point across to her, because I know what kind of person she is, and I've seen it, and I've gone through this in the videos, and I just want to make sure that I do all that I need to do, because she's not disposable to me in any way, shape, or form. She just isn't. This is not anything that is morbid. It's just the truth. She's not disposable. She's a good person to keep in my life, and I prefer to keep a quality person like this in my life regardless of what our relationship is from this point on in. So hopefully something positive comes out of this.